Hey, what's up YouTube? Brad and Bordy here, back with another New World video. Today we're going to talk about the damage type of your weapon versus the mob type that you're fighting, Bordy. I think this is a really good information to put out there because it can help you make sure you're doing the most effective amount of damage against each mob type. So Bordy, take it away.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So this is a pretty great information if you're trying to level quickly. This will help you do that. This will also help you in expeditions once you get to that point in the game. So every mob type in New World is going to be weak or strong against a certain damage type in the game. So we have a chart on newworldfans.com that's going to outline which damage type does more or less damage to each mob type. So you can also slot gems into your weapons. You're going to have an available gem slot to obtain your desired damage type. So Red, tell us about what happens whenever you damage a mob.
When damaging a mob, an icon will show up next to the damage value. If there are small arrows above the icon, that means the mob is vulnerable to that damage type, and your damage output will be increased. If there are two small arrows below the icon, it means that the mob is resistant to that type of damage, and your damage will be reduced.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And those are also color coded too. So if it's blue, it means reduced damage. If it's yellow, it means you're going to have increased damage against that mob type. And if it's white, it's going to be just normal damage. So your overall damage output is also determined by your attribute points and your weapon damage. So your gems are going to scale off particular attributes or weapon damage, and that's going to be like whichever one is higher. And it's important to note here that some of the increased damage types do more damage than others. So the chart that we have on New World Fans is going to tell you which type is best and which type is worse. So for example, if you're fighting an ancient, the best damage type against an ancient is going to be to slot a lightning gem, and then the worst damage type against an ancient is going to be fire. So if you're going and farming ancient mobs, you're not going to want to use a fire staff or slot a fire gem. You're going to want to use like strike damage. So you're going to want to use a mace or a hammer, a war hammer, and then you're going to want to use either void or lightning. So a war hammer with a lightning gem would do maximum damage against the ancients.
Yes. So corrupted, Bordy, is the basically you can do increased damage with thrust damage and arcane, and the corrupted will have a resistance to strike damage and ice damage. Now you also get a bonus to nature damage if you use that as well, and you'll start to see, Bordy, that nature damage is pretty effective against most mob types there because you know, it doesn't have a mob that is resistant to it.
Yeah, that's right. So nature damage would be a good gem to slot for just overall damage for sure, because you're either going to do your normal damage or you're going to do increased damage against mobs. So that's good. I think without going through every one of these, man, the beast is a pretty interesting one too, because it doesn't have any resistances against anything. It's just going to be thrust damage, and that's going to do the most damage against beasts. And beasts are just every animal in the game, like your wolves, your bears, etc., is going to be your beast. Your the big cats that are out there, the pumas and all that stuff. Just thrust damage, man. It's not going to matter what gem you have slotted in those.
That's right. So guys, again, the entire chart is over there at New World Fans, so go check that out. This video will be below it if you happen to be watching it on the website. But yeah, great information, Bordy, and I think, you know, it'll be really important when you come to like expeditions and potential raids, if they're released in the future, to make sure that all your gems and your damage types line up with these weaknesses, because it is a pretty significant amount of damage you'll be missing out on if you don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. Thank you to our Patreons, who you'll see your name at the end of the video, as always. We really appreciate your guys' support, continued support on YouTube. Don't forget to hit the subscription button if you haven't already, and like the video down below. Leave a comment. We love to come through there. If you're going to meow or bark at us, we don't mind. Just leave the comment. Thanks again for watching, guys. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next video.